Hey guys, Chris here with the latest of Ecovacs vacuums with their all-in-one station. Now the combo is part of the T30S family. The only difference is that this model that I'm covering here that Ecovacs sent out to me is the more expensive model because you have this right here on the side of it. It's a portable vacuum. Now this handheld vacuum has up to 17,000 PA, which is a lot. That means we have multi-surface cleaning. So you can use this to clean and vacuum your sofa to dust and get around edges that you couldn't, of course, with a robot vacuum cleaner. Speaking of which, this model has 11,000 PA of suction performance and their zero tangle anti-tangle technology. Now, you know that the roller brushes have been a bit of a problem with previous older generations of robot vacuum cleaners, always getting hair tangled to them. Well, it solves that, and in my testing, it does actually work really well. So it's using anti-static technology, a dual comb in there, and what it does is remove those hairs and suck them into the dustbin. So the dustbins, there is one here. We get a dustbin, of course, in the portable vac, and one in the robot vacuum cleaner, but it has its own auto-empty, dual auto-emptying in this compartment right here where you will find the removable dust bag. Now the mopping on this, it is using their TruEdge adaptive edge mopping. And what this is going to do is get those mops and extend them out and get them as close as possible to things like tables, the legs of chairs, so there's no gaps that are missing there. And then of course it goes back into the all-in-one station here where it will rinse and clean those mops, and it cleans them at 70 degrees Celsius, and it then proceeds to dry them as well, so you're not going to have any odors. So in this video, which by the way is sponsored by Ecovacs, I'm going to be going over this model here with some tests to let you know how the new Ecovacs Deebot T30S combo performs. The Deebot T30 combo does have a LiDAR. You can see the tower at the top. There are 3 microphones there for the Yeeco voice commands using their voice assistant, and it's using their TrueDetect 3D 3.0. So it does use infrared 3D structured light to form a 3D image of obstacles to avoid them, the contours, depth information, and precise obstacle avoidance, which I'll be testing later in this particular video. On the top of the robot vacuum, you'll see that we do have a power on button. There is the return to home button and a spot clean button. The Deebot T30 combo does have mop lift of 9mm, side sweeper brush. There's just one, which is on the right-hand side. And this here is a side sensor to get in as close as possible. And there is a rubber lip on the front bumper. Both of the mops, they're microfiber cloths that Ecovacs is using for them. Now, they will be continually wetted by an internal water tank, and removing them, well, that is easy. They are stuck on place with microfiber cloths, so when the time comes that you need to replace them or wash them, it's pretty easy to pull them off. It does have a carpet sensor located here, 360-degree front wheel downwards firing sensors to detect any falls like a staircase, and our front sweeper brush, which is easy enough to pull off. Now the suction performance is 11,000 PA maximum, which is a lot for a robot vacuum cleaner. And note that the brush is a little different here, so a V-shape to it, and that is because it is using their zero tangle anti-tangle technology. So hair's not going to get stuck in this. You can see there's a tiny little side brush here too as well that makes sure that no hairs are going to get wrapped around that. And what it does, it uses anti-static bristles there to make sure that the hair's not going to get tangled up. And it has just under this, if I remove that main brush, which is very easy to do, you can see that there is this right here, a dual comb structure. Now this is what is going to straighten those hairs when it gets in contact with them and make sure they are then sucked up within the dustbin. So solving that problem of having hair tangled up in the brush. And the all-in-one clean station. So this is where you're going to have the dual dustbin emptying. So that is for our removable vacuum and the robot vacuum. And it also does, of course, wash those mops. Now, these mops are washed there in the station at 70 degrees Celsius and dried anywhere from 2 hours to 4 hours to ensure that they're not going to grow any mildew or bacteria or smell. I do like the way the handheld vacuum cleaner is stored on the side here. There is a battery gauge, so you can see it with 3 LEDs to let you know exactly where it is with the charge, and it is easy to remove. You simply just pull up on it. As for the attachments, well, we have our mini power brush, so this is a great one for cleaning couches, sofas, and car seats. Then there is the brush attachment, so you just have this normal one here, or if you pull it out, you have the brush. Again, good for cleaning cars. I find that's good for getting around the air vents and whatnot. And then there's this, the long funnel, which is good for getting down the side of seats, car seats, sofa seats and whatnot. The portable vac does have a mode switch at the top, and this is the trigger for turning it on and off. Now the mode, that puts it into a high performance mode or a low eco mode for maximum runtime. Another great thing about this station here is this part is all removable. For maintenance, it makes it very easy. There's simply these two blue tabs. You can press those, pull this right out, and even this part here, the washboard area where there's sometimes a bit of debris you need to wipe out, well, that is another little blue tab that you push in, and then you can just remove that too for maintenance. And onto that cleaning performance now. So I set it to vacuum on a rug. This is a typical test I do with all my robot vacuum cleaners. I lay down some cornflakes, rice, long human hair, and then some very fine cat fur too as well, dust and a little bit of dirt and whatnot. So it's a little bit of a challenge here, not your typical mess that you would find on some carpets or a rug. Put it into the high performance mode, which is the 11,000 PA, and set it at it. Now I give it 2 passes here. This footage has been sped up, so we don't have to sit through and wait. And you can see that it did a good job in the first pass of collecting and sucking up most of that hair, and pretty much all of it, and then zigzags back the other way on the second pass. Now this was an excellent test here of the zero tangle solution that this vacuum does incorporate here. So it's using the V-shaped brush, anti-static bristles, a dual comb inside, and I was really shocked at this result, that when I flipped it over to take a look at the main brush, the roller didn't have any hair whatsoever stuck in it. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I proceeded to put it into a special demo mode and feed it more hair, expecting then some of it to tangle up. And again, to my absolute shock here, that not a single strand of hair was stuck in that roller, and it all went into the dustbin, which you can see is full of hair and whatnot. So once it has done its cleaning schedule, what you want it to do, the spot cleans or whatnot, it will go back, of course, here into the dual empty station, dual being because it can also empty out the portable vac here. And I wanted to see the results of emptying out that dustbin. So you can see the before result that I just showed you. The dustbin is very dirty. There's a lot in there. And now let's have a listen to what it sounds like when it goes back into the empty station to empty itself out. So the all-in-one station does sound like a bit of a normal vacuum cleaner kind of sound when it turns on, but the results are very good. You can see it has emptied out that dustbin. There is some very, very fine dust that you can see inside the bin and a couple of little bits and pieces, but it seems that static held some of that there. So it didn't quite get absolutely everything as I expected, but it did a very good job. And that's of course going to be located here in the main dust bag that you remove once full. And that can last up to 150 days depending on your household. Then of course with the T30S combo, we've got the portable vac here. So this handheld vacuum, very handy indeed. Maximum suction performance is impressive, 17,000 PA. And I found it is really handy because it's a multi-surface cleaner now, this whole combination, that you can use it to get to places that of course a robot vacuum simply cannot. Like your couch, your sofa, very handy for that. Dusting around different areas. The nozzle extended brush too as well to get down the side of furniture. And I'd even find that it was very good at cleaning a mat, car mat. It did an excellent job of too. So it's very useful and handy to have this extra with it. And of course it's got its own internal dustbin. You can see that it is full of quite a few bits and pieces that it collected. Normal, okay. But how does it fare when it empties it out? So this is the after result. Again, pretty much got everything. There's just a few little fine bits of dust and very small particles that, again, I think due to static on the plastic inside of it is kind of stuck to the outside there. So excellent at emptying with its dual empty mode, that it can empty the portable vac and then of course your robot vacuum cleaner. Then the mopping performance. This is something that is featured heavily in these all-in-one robot vacuum cleaners like this one. So it'll go around and mop your house. Now, because it has true edge with the adaptive edge mopping, it gets into areas that simply other robot vacuums, the competitors, cannot. So very close to your things like the legs of chairs and close to furniture and the edges of everything with the tiles really well, and that's great feature to have because it's going to leave no gaps and gets into the corners of things, which is great. Now, of course, I did do my typical test here for mopping, and that is 2 teaspoons of coffee mixed with dirt. It's let to dry there, baked onto those tiles, and it's a very stubborn stain, but it did an excellent job. This again is sped up footage. You can see that the T30S combo is doing an excellent job. On the first pass, it didn't quite get everything. Second pass now, it goes in the opposite direction, and this is a spot clean. And any spot clean that you do, if it's quite small, it will do 2 passes of it anyway, so that's going to make sure it cleans it really well. And it did a fantastic job. Now, those 2 little dots there, or 2 or 3, those are little chips in the tile, so it can never get rid of that anyway. And you can see the mops, they absolutely feel filthy. They are quite brown, and this isn't just from the coffee, this is also from cleaning various other areas and floors and under beds and around the tables and whatnot that it was doing. So I sent it back. It will do this anyway automatically to go back into the all-in-one station to then scrub out and clean those mops, rinse them. And what it's doing here is it's cleaning them with 70°C water, so it's hot water. And it did an excellent job too at cleaning them, because this is the before, really dirty, and now the after. The mop is looking almost like it was brand new. You can just see minor traces there of some of that coffee, but very, very minor. And other features that it does have, well, mop lift. So this is a feature where it will lift up those mops 9mm. Now you can set this with, again, the application to lift the mops up over carpets and rugs, or simply just avoid them. And it's a good thing if you've got really high pile carpets, probably to have it avoid it completely. But if you've got a short pile, the mop lift should be sufficient enough. At least it was in my case with the rug that I was testing out. So the other features that it does have, well, AI obstacle avoidance. It's called True Detect, and this is 3D. And what it's going to do is, using structured light, it will calculate and recognize objects in front of it. So with my test, it was a child's toy, some socks, and a shoe. And it did manage to go around these very well. It mapped out a path to go around them. It would occasionally just knock into them and push them a little bit, but overall, good obstacle avoidance with common household objects, which is what you want. You don't want it to push around socks and eventually suck them up and get, of course, the main roller jammed. So there we go. That is all you really need to know, and I showed you some of those tests here and the performance of this great all-in-one robot vacuum cleaning solution with the handheld portable cleaner, the Deebot T30S combo from Ecovacs.